We continue our studies in the seventh ray revealer of the New Age in part 6. And as we discussed before, there is a shift happening in seventh ray energies are coming on planet Earth, and it leads to some kinds of shifts happening which we currently see in today's world. And I will continue reading on the reading from our last studies, and it's about we are entering a new scientific age. We are entering a scientific age, but it will be a science which passes out the impasse which has now reached and which, having penetrated as it has into the realm of the intangible, will begin to work far more subjectively than heretofore. It will recognize the existence of senses which are supersensory and which are extensions of the 5 physical senses, and this will be forced upon science because of the multitude of reliable people who will possess them and who can work and live in the worlds of the tangible and the intangible simultaneously. The mass of reputable testimony will prove incontrovertibly. The moment that the subjective world of causes is proven to exist, and this will come through the indisputative evidence of man's extended senses, science will enter into a new era. Its focus and attention will change. The possibilities of discovery will be immense, and materialism, as that word is now understood, will vanish. Even the word materialism will become obsolete, and men in the future will be amused at the limited vision of our modern world and wonder why we thought and felt as we did. I would have you bear in mind, in connection with the 5 rays which we have seen are influencing or beginning to influence humanity at this time, that their effect varies according to the ray type or ray quality of the individual concerned and according to his position upon the ladder of evolution. Such points are often forgotten. If a man is, for instance, upon the 2nd ray of love wisdom, it may be expected that the influence of that ray and the 6th ray, which is among the 2nd ray line of power, will be easily effective and will necessarily constitute the line of least resistance. This situation may therefore produce undue sensitivity and an unbalanced unfoldment of characteristics. It is our characteristic which influence our conduct and our reaction to circumstances. It will mean also that the influence of the 1st, 3rd, and 7th ray will be fundamentally unsettling and will call out resistance. In the world today, the rays are along the line of energy, which that of the 1st ray, will or power, are in the ratio 3:2, and therefore we can look for a fuller expression of the 1st ray attributes and happening than would otherwise be the case. This will be particularly so because the 6th ray is fast going out of manifestation. As we have said, we shift into 7th ray energy, which is ceremonial order and the new beauty which can emerge. But however, to make that happen, sometimes first the old forms have to be destroyed. And to continue, the seventh ray which is coming, this is the ray of ceremonial order, and through the activity of its energy, when correctly directed and used in the right rhythm and being posed upon all aspects of human living, an effort is being constantly made to arrest the ugly chaos of the present and to produce the ordered beauty of the future. That's really what these books, the Revealer on the New Age, brings the hope that it is all unfolding in God's plan and divine timing. And there is chaos, but it is good because it is for humanity's evolution to bring something better. And so just pay attention to the next one. For the ordered beauty of the future, the major weapon now being used by combined forces of evil is chaos, disruption, lack of established security, and consequent fears. The potency of these evil forces is exceedingly great because they belong to no one group of people and to all the ideologies. The chaos produced by indifference, the chaos produced by uncertainty, the chaos produced by fear, by starvation, by insecurity, by watching others suffer innocently, and the chaos produced by the warring and conflicting ambitious elements in every nation. These are the factors which Master R is attempting to deal. The task is one of supreme difficulty. The entire rhythm of the internal thinking has to be altered, and they constitute a slow and arduous task. The evil personality, which in every country are responsible for the chaos and uncertainty, have eventually to be replaced by those who can work in cooperation with the rhythm and the seventh ray, and those produce ordered beauty. So that's our vision, and to see that it is unfolding, but be aware there are those forces that are often played on the emotional plane, and if you know that is what is being played, you have greater awareness and a greater control. As if you don't know what is happening, you have no idea whatsoever in the world is unfolding, then you're blind from those. But I hope the insight together with the previous video on those opposite energies which are on the world, gives you some strength within to recognize them and then stay in your center, detached from it, and not be overwhelmed by them. The task is further complicated by the fact that in the substitution of order for chaos, national cultures must be preserved and the outline of the new civilization presented to the people. And under the influence of this seventh ray energy, balance has to be brought about and preserved, so that the noble middle way of right action, of right human relation, can be safely taught. That's what is unfolding, and it's important for you to know, there is a scientific area which we are entering, that there it will shift from also from the tonguable to the intonguable, and will be guided by people who can stand in both worlds and have a comprehension and the mind and the heart to stand in the spiritual and material world at the same time and bring forth that change. And there is still, as that unfolds, there is still great chaos, but with your inner awareness of what is happening, what changes occur, it brings back the hope and some detachment of what is happening. What sometimes it can be so painful to see why certain things occur, but that's just a state of development where we need to pass through to go for the future that brings order and beauty. And with that, I wish you well